Welcome back, my lovely beans. We will talk today about Rhino. Since he got his heirloom skin last week, I did a little bit of testing. I played him. I did a void cascade. As you know, I try a bit more about get out of my comfort zone and I play a few more frames. I will show you all about his abilities, 3 builds, a Void Cascade build, a Steel Puff build, and also a complete beginner's guide. So don't worry about it if you are in the start of your journey, you came back to Warframe and you have no idea what to do, you barely have any mods. I will show you with simple investment how to play Rhino, how to have fun, and what my heirloom drip is at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching and stay in. Rhino's first ability is called Rhino's Charge. He technically charges towards enemies and nukes every enemy over that's in his way. Rhino's second ability is Iron Skin. Rhino's Hardened Skin, isolating himself from all damage. You have in total 3 seconds on invulnerability, and how the overguard is being calculated, it is 2500 times 2.5 times the armor times ability strength times the absorbed damage. So when you stand around while you're getting attacked, I can show you that. When I'm getting attacked and the time the 3.2 is active, my iron skin will be higher depending on the damage I'm taking. So at level cap, or if you for example standing in a jade beam, the damage will be, or the amount of iron skin will be way higher. The third ability is the most known one, that is Roar. I think we can all know that. That is also his Subsume. And the fourth ability is Stomp. Rhino stomps with force and knocks the enemies over. That does not work on enemies with Overguard, by the way. So be careful with that. For each of Rhino's ability, there is an argument. The first argument is called Ironclad Charge. Each enemy hit increases Rhino's armor rating by 50% for 10 seconds. This argument will be used to get the overguard higher because people like to use this argument by grouping enemies, hitting enemies then with the first to then use Iron Skin. I personally don't like it because I found it way more micromanaging, grouping the enemies to then use the argument to then use Iron Skin, simply because when my overguard is down, I can simply recast it and get the amount of overguard that I simply get, instead of trying to group enemies with any type of grouping ability or with a sentinel, for example Nautilus, to use that. For the second ability, the argument is called Iron Shrapnel. Recasting Iron Skin will cause it to detonate, dealing 100% of its remaining health as a puncture damage and knocking down enemies. I personally have not tested it. It could be kind of interesting to prevent it to running out while you are an operator, but on the other hand, I still feel like there are better mods to use in that slot, since we don't have a dedicated argument slot. Piercing Roar. Roar gains 40% range. Enemies within 25 meter are knocked down and suffering 10 seconds of puncture status. I don't like that enemies getting knocked down. It will make it harder for me to get headshots personally, so I don't think it's good. And Reinforced Stomp. Rhino Stomp argument. For this 4, Iron Skin health is replenished by 4% for each enemy affected. I had a little discussion with that on stream. I think people and I were simply talking past each other, where I was talking that that the Stomp is not working on Overguard, and then they were telling me, oh yeah, but the argument does. What I meant was the Stomp is not affecting enemies with Overguard, right? It's not stopping them, it's not CCing them, and they were telling me, but the argument does. It's still not stopping them. And the argument is not helping me because it's not replenishing my Overguard, because Overguard itself is not helping towards level cap, and I was in that second actively running a level cap. But yeah, I don't personally think it's worth running the slot again, because there's not an issue to recast your Overguard, especially since you get the 3 seconds of invulnerability, and especially when you run redirection, and your shield would break, you have like the 2.5 seconds of invulnerability. So I personally would say recasting is better than getting like a huge number of overguard, but that is personally me. You get the argument, by the way, from Steel Meridian or Parent Sequence. For Subsume on Rhino, you can Subsume either over the 1 or the 4, depending what you prefer. I usually Subsume over the 1, since I still like to use the 4, the Stomp, even when I run negative range. Simply, even on short range, you can like Stomp when you have an Acolyte directly in front of you, but that is up to you. I most likely Subsume Nourish. Just a little information for you, you can't Subsume any damage improving abilities like Eclipse or the others, since you already run Raw and you can't have like 2 abilities like that on one frame. If you want to have Eclipse or the others on Rhino, you have to Subsume it over Raw, just for you to know. But in the end, it's always free for you to like Subsume over Rhino what you want and test freely around what you like. Simply just, I used Nourish because I think that was the best bet to use towards level cap, but that was me because I was running a Void Cascade and I wanted to make sure that I have enough energy, because I think since the casting of all of Rhino's abilities are quite expensive, you have to be a bit more careful. I prepped 3 builds for you today for Rhino. One is a Void Cascade build. That is up to you if you want to like test it or not. This is my Void Cascade build. It is a bit of a shield gating build. It is for comfort. You're using Briefer Sprite. You would obviously, if you have Prime Sure-Footed, run Prime Sure-Footed here. I use normal. If you're wondering why Sure-Footed, even when you have Overguard, it is simply so you don't get knocked over when your Overguard is down. Prime Redirection is simply an extra layer of protection, because when your Overguard is down, since you are over 1.5 thousand shield, you have like the 2.5 second extra of invulnerability when your shield breaks. So you have like the extra shield gating, because you have the 2.5 seconds of shield gating together with the 3 seconds of invulnerability of Rolling Guard, together with this 3 seconds of invulnerability from Iron Skin, and however how much you have of Overguard, right? Never mind it for duration, Transit Fortitude for strength, Energy Nexus together with Nourish over your 1 for energy economy, duration, Augements is also for duration, and Umbral Intensify. I personally am not the biggest fan to run triple Umbral. I know that some people do that to get like the extra strength from the mod set. I personally don't do it. You could technically, instead of Arcane Range, run a mold efficiency here for more duration, but I personally think that over 70 seconds of duration is totally enough. I run Arcane Range because in my run I was running with Soma, so I preferred the extra bit of base damage for the weapon. You can technically swap this Arcane out with whatever you want. You can run Aegis if you want a bit more safety. You can run Fury if you run a melee. Precision if you run a secondary, or whatever you want, and Mold Argument for more strength stats. For normal steel path, I'm running a growing power setup with extra strength, rolling guard, energy nexus because, nourish once again. Never mind it, transit fortitude, flow for comfort once again. Blind rage and umbra intensify. I'm running a negative efficiency, but also running flow. Be a bit careful with negative efficiency on Rhino because it makes casting really expensive. So I would be careful with that. So definitely you want to run either flow, or if you can drop it, don't run blind rage if you are fine with running with lower strength. But that is up to you. Test around what you prefer. Mold argument and mold efficiency. So with this one, you would be like quite high in strength. And an absolute beginner build would be Dreamer Spawn, since, I'm going always with Dreamer Spawn since this is a aura mod we're getting as a reward from the quest. Vitality for extra health. Steel fiber, because like I said, your overguard is being determined by 2.5 times armor times your ability strength. So the armor will help us, especially in the beginning, to get a little bit more overguard for you, duration for more comfort, stretch for your stomp to help you CC enemies, which will be like especially in defense, for your help for equilibrium, for better energy economy, intensify and flow. You could actually check out, have to like check that later. I think you're actually kind of fine at the moment, if I remember correctly, if you would even like to put in a streamline here as well. If you still have the points. That is, by the way, a build with at least an Hurricane Reactor here. But that would be maybe like in a beginner build completely. For Shards for Void Cascade, I personally was running Parker Velocity, 2 green shards, a casting speed, and an energy max. The only thing I would for sure shard-wise suggest is a casting speed. Besides that, your shards are kind of free. You can run extra strength if you want to. You can run extra duration if you want to, whatever you feel like. I just say casting speed because the raw animation is actually kind of long. I can like show you that how long I run casting speed, so it's sped up. So raw is actually kind of long of a casting speed. So I would definitely say that you should run casting speed on him. Besides that, it's free for you to use whatever you want to. If you don't own Rhino Prime is currently in Prime Resurgence, so you can get currently the relics for Rhino Prime from Vazir in the Prime Resurgence. And normal Rhino you can get from the Jackal Assassination, where you need 3 parts, or you do the Riri. That is absolutely up to you, what you would like to do. And that is, by the way, the Heirloom skin that I'm currently using. The biggest benefit of Rhino is obviously that you have already raw, so you can like subsume a second one, which kind of makes it like really good to use like any form of weapon, or like bring any type of weapon that is maybe not the strongest to bring to like level cap. I'm saying while I'm like carrying an cannon, but you can test freely like way more weapon out. Thank you so much for watching, and tell me what you like about Rhino and what build you like on him in testing. See you next time.